Well, good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Today, Harry and Meghan torched what little was left of their relationship with the royal family and what little was left, frankly, of their own reputations. Last week was mostly sycophantic.
It all exploded with a single video, a clip so strange it sent social media into meltdown mode. Meghan Markle, dressed in what viewers swore looked like a moon bump, was caught on camera dancing in a hospital room with Prince Harry. Not just any dancing, full-on twerking, laughing, and grooving to lyrics about being a baby mama and demanding child support. The whole scene was so bizarre, it looked less like a royal birth announcement and more like a Saturday Night Live sketch gone rogue. For someone who spent years carefully crafting a regal image, this moment felt like a total parody. But what happened next is what really set the internet on fire. Suddenly, people were asking the question, mainstream media always tiptoed around, was Meghan ever really pregnant? These rumors aren't new. Speculation about Meghan's pregnancies, especially with Archie and Lilibet, has been swirling online for years. Claims of prosthetic baby bumps, surrogates, and staged photo ops that big outlets always dismissed as wild conspiracy theories. But after this video, it wasn't just the usual internet sleuth stirring the pot. The fire was stoked by voices inside the media itself. Even controversial heavyweights like Piers and Jeremy Kyle started openly questioning what they were seeing. With that one clip, the rumor mill didn't just spin, it exploded, putting a fresh spotlight on questions the palace hoped would never come up again.
You are witnessing a broken heart that is allowed to bleed openly. That is what we are witnessing.
That's not what I'm witnessing.
That is what you are witnessing.
I'm witnessing an entitled, arrogant, bitter, twisted little man who's had his claws dug into by a manipulative LA lady, and the pair of them have gone on a mission, a wrecking ball mission, to enrich themselves by abusing the very institution which bestowed the titles to them, which they used to make money.
But the controversy isn't just about whether Meghan wore a fake bump. The implications cut much deeper than people realize. In the UK, for a royal child to have a legitimate claim to the throne, they must be born of the body, not by surrogate, not by sleight of hand. So if Meghan did secretly use a surrogate and hid the truth, we're not just talking about a media scandal. It could mean Archie and Lilibet might not technically qualify for royal titles or their spot in the line of succession. That's why this conspiracy shakes the palace to its core. This isn't just trashy tabloid talk anymore. Now it's potentially a constitutional bombshell. As the viral video ricocheted around the internet, amateur detectives and professional commentators picked apart every single frame. The bump looks off, they said. It's sitting weird, moving oddly. Meghan is squatting, bending, twerking moves almost no heavily pregnant woman would risk. And this wasn't just internet noise. Nurses, doctors, and moms from all over weighed in. Something's not right, they posted. Even people who usually defend Meghan suddenly went quiet. For once, the silence was deafening. But it wasn't only the visuals making people talk. It was the entire tone. Meghan, decked out in black, dancing in a hospital room under dramatic lights, grooving to lyrics about being a baby mama who does whatever she wants. For someone who's always claimed to want privacy and even left the UK supposedly to escape the constant cameras, blasting out this kind of footage was the total opposite. It didn't just look like a miscalculation, it looked like an open invitation to be roasted. And roasted they were. The internet lost it. Memes popped up everywhere. Opinions poured in from all sides. Was this some desperate PR stunt gone off the rails? A distraction from something even messier? Or just more proof that Meghan and Harry have no clue how badly out of touch they've become? Even Piers couldn't hold back, going on X to say, "We're about 2 months away from the sex tape." Brutal? Absolutely. But it captured the mood. Jeremy Kyle nearly gagged on air, comparing the scene to a lap dancing club for expectant mothers. The spectacle didn't just cause outrage, it cemented the growing sense that the Sussexes are completely disconnected from the public they once hoped to win over.
She's dancing in front of the camera. Oh God, it looks like a lap dancing club with pregnant women. He's also dancing in front of the camera. She's got a black dress on. She's literally holding her bump and twerking, and she's put this on social media. The woman is that's getting worse now. She looks like she's performing.
For years, anything about Meghan's pregnancies was off limits, a total taboo. Now, it's front page news, and Meghan herself has stayed absolutely silent. But the damage might already be irreversible. Jeremy Kyle wasn't done either. Sitting across from Kenzie Schofield, he unleashed one of his harshest rants yet. He openly mocked the Sussexes' obsession with privacy, saying their version of craving privacy meant nothing more than a perfectly staged PR circus. He didn't stop at criticizing the video. He torched the whole spectacle as a disgrace to the monarchy. And that's when things got serious. Suddenly, major media outlets that had always tiptoed around the bump rumors were quietly reaching out, digging for answers. Behind the scenes, even seasoned journalists started whispering the same question the public was screaming, "Why if it's all true?"
There's going to be a little bit of sick in my mouth as I try and describe this, because fresh from repeatedly telling us that they were escaping the United Kingdom because they wanted privacy, they hated the press, they hated everything, and all she does now with her jams that are crap is post pictures of her children left, right and centre, which has me always thinking, well, hold on a second.
They ran from the UK claiming they just wanted peace and privacy, but now here's Meghan putting on a TikTok-worthy dance routine in a hospital gown. Jeremy Kyle's voice dripped with pure disbelief as he ripped into the absurdity. You've got kids left with chickens, jam jars nobody's buying, and now a full-blown music video in the maternity ward. He honestly looked torn between laughing out loud and being sick to his stomach. And Kenzie Schofield didn't hold back either. She slammed the disconnect, pointing out how Meghan seemed completely detached from the dignity expected of royalty. This wasn't just about the dancing, she said. It was the entire spectacle. This isn't a woman in labor, Kenzie insisted. This is a performance. She's selling something, maybe herself. But it gets even more bizarre. People started focusing on the details, the polished lyrics, the music, the glossy editing, and suddenly everyone was asking, was this even filmed during her actual pregnancy? That's when sharp-eyed health professionals chimed in across social media. That's not a real labor and delivery room, one nurse declared. Look at the bed position. And that IV line, it's all wrong, said another. She's not in labor. That's a set. That's a costume drama. Then the snowball picked up speed. The bump looked too stiff, too smooth, almost like it was molded out of plastic. Women who'd carried real pregnancies said it just didn't look right. That belly's too round, too perfect. I could buy one like that on Amazon, one mom posted. Suddenly, old internet clips resurfaced, videos of Meghan's bump folding awkwardly as she sat down or shifting shape when she pressed her hand against it. It wasn't a brand new conspiracy, but this time it felt like the internet had found its smoking gun. Piers doubled down, posting a viral split screen of Meghan dancing in the hospital and earlier footage of her with a totally different bump shape and posture. The result? The rumors weren't just back, they were blowing up, bigger than ever. "Tell me again how this is the same pregnancy?" Piers taunted in his viral caption. Instantly, the comments section exploded into chaos. People from all over were dissecting the footage, comparing bump shapes, postures, and timelines like it was a true crime investigation. The reaction wasn't just confined to the UK either. Alexandra Marshall, speaking all the way from Australia, looked genuinely rattled. As an ambassador for Australia's constitutional monarchy, she didn't sugarcoat it. The video was a nightmare for monarchists everywhere. But her warning went further than mere embarrassment. She said this was pure ammunition for Republicans in countries like Australia and Canada. "This is the argument on a silver platter," Alexandra declared. "It's cringeworthy, undignified, and hands anti-monarchists exactly what they want." But the most chilling reaction came from Norman Fenton, a respected mathematics professor who had just left the courtroom. He didn't get emotional, he went straight for the logic. "This bump doesn't behave like a real pregnancy," he said, calm and firm. "It's completely inconsistent with what we know about full-term physical behavior." He didn't have to break down the biology. The question he posed was even scarier. If this pregnancy isn't real, what does that mean for Archie and Lilibet? Meanwhile, major media outlets suddenly went quiet. They kept fluffy stories about Meghan's beautiful birthday post for Lilibet pinned to the top of their websites. No criticism, no questions, just soft coverage. But that silence was deafening because behind the scenes, journalists were working overtime, texting sources, tracking down whistleblowers, and trying to confirm if this bizarre video was new or if Meghan had recycled old footage to stir up attention as her star power faded. But why now? That's the million-dollar question nobody can answer. What exactly was Meghan's endgame with this video? Was it some bizarre attempt at damage control or a calculated grab for publicity? Because if it was supposed to win sympathy, it crashed and burned. If it was meant to get attention, mission accomplished, but for all the wrong reasons. Instead of silencing her critics, Meghan just poured gasoline on years of rumors, and speculation turned into a full-on online investigation. People started connecting dots and getting organized, demanding actual consequences instead of just memes and snarky tweets. The outrage quickly shifted from questions of taste to questions of eligibility. If Meghan had really faked not just a video, but an entire pregnancy, what did that mean for Archie and Lilibet's place in the royal family? The law is crystal clear. To stay in the royal line of succession, a child has to be born of the body of a royal. Surrogacy, unless it's openly declared and fully documented, is a deal breaker, and there's never been any such public disclosure for the Sussex kids. So when legal experts started weighing in, this wasn't just more tabloid gossip. It had all the makings of a full-blown constitutional crisis hiding under a pile of celebrity chaos. That's when things really went off the rails. Online petitions started racking up thousands of signatures calling for Buckingham Palace to launch an official inquiry. Some demanded Archie and Lilibet be scrubbed from the royal website. Others went further, pushing for an immediate freeze on their titles until Meghan and Harry could produce real birth certificates and hospital records. And then, as if things couldn't get more explosive, a new rumor leaked. Allegedly, Prince Harry was thinking about dropping Mountbatten Windsor and going back to his mother's maiden name, Spencer. Even if unconfirmed, the rumor sent shockwaves through royal watchers. Was this just Harry's own damage control before the palace makes its move? Was it preemptive distancing or just desperation? Insiders say the palace wasn't just rolling their eyes, they were absolutely livid. According to royal gossip columns, King Charles was deeply disappointed by Meghan's latest circus act, seeing it as yet another blow to the monarchy's reputation. But if you thought Charles was upset, you should have seen William. Sources close to the future king claimed he was downright furious. Not so much over Meghan's dancing, but over the fact that it yanked the monarchy right back into global chaos just as he was fighting tooth and nail to modernize its stuffy image. Some reports even say William privately called the video a disgrace to everything Mum stood for. Ouch. That's not just a rebuke, that's a declaration of war. Meanwhile, royal biographers started scrambling. Books that were already halfway to the printer suddenly hit pause, chapters getting rewritten, timelines updated, new theories about the Sussexes plastered across drafts. Even the palace's most loyal staffers began whispering off the record, hinting at serious discussions behind closed doors. And then, in a twist nobody predicted, the mainstream media finally blinked. Anchors who once jumped to Meghan's defense began cautiously weighing in. One said flat out, if this video was meant to prove anything, it's only raised more doubt. Another host asked, why release something so bizarre if you want privacy? Suddenly hit point, this wasn't a fringe internet conspiracy, it was headline news. But here's the most surreal part. Meghan didn't say a word. No carefully worded press release. No Instagram quote about rising above the noise. No defensive podcast episode. No conveniently leaked denial. Just total calculated silence. Was she hoping the whole thing would fade away if she ignored it? Or was she trying to provoke even more attention? Either way, her silence became deafening, and the public's curiosity turned to suspicion. By the end of the week, the mood had changed. People weren't just mocking Meghan, they were uncomfortable. For the first time, a wave of doubt swept over even her staunchest defenders. Was the palace hiding something bigger? What else haven't we been told? This wasn't just about a weird hospital video or a dodgy moon bump. It was about trust, legacy, whether the royal family is upholding any of the standards it claims to represent. For a lot of people, this wasn't just another cringe-worthy Sussex moment. It was the final straw. The instant when the line between royalty and reality TV didn't just blur it, vanished. And now, the whole world is left wondering what's real and what's just another royal performance.